Now back to the #1 truth fighter in Boston, the Warren Ballentine Show, only on NewsTalk, 1090 AM, WILD Boston, where information is power.
When they tell you that you'll never get over.
We've got more of our young men involved in the drug trade. That is because we've got more young men without hope and without prospects for the future.
Warren Ballentine, one of Ebony Magazine's Power 150.
I can't hear you. I'm way up here. What you say?
We gotta have leaders who are really for the people, not for their pockets.
The Warren Ballentine Show, heard coast to coast and border to border, giving the truth fighters a voice in the call for justice. 877-373-9766. 877-373-9766. Join the truth fighters in full effect right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
All right, Truth Fighters, welcome to the third hour of the Warren Ballentine Show. 877-373-9766. 877-373-9766. You know, this past 2 or 3 weeks, we've dealt with a lot of things on the show, and we've dealt a lot with racial relationships in the show. And there's a couple of things I want to say that I want to clarify for everybody. All right? It is my position, and it will continue to be my position, that it is huge money in dividing us based on race. The Republicans and the Democrats want us divided. The rich want us divided, because as long as we're divided, they make money off of us. We heard the interview of Shirley Sherrod, and one of the problems with this country is when we talk about race, we don't want to talk about it in its true form. When we talk about racism, we have to talk about the atrocities and the truth. Now, the truth means a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but it is a universal truth that cannot be denied. And when we start talking about racism in this country, we have to talk about it from a historical perspective and from a perspective of today, and not be hypocritical in that discussion. Just like I told you guys yesterday, if you're going to make the argument that a white woman cannot be the fashion editor at a black magazine, then you cannot yell racism when a white magazine doesn't hire a black person. That's hypocritical. You can't say, well, only blacks can do it, but then if whites do it, it's racism. You can't say that. That's very hypocritical. But at the same time, white America has to understand, look, just like I said on CNN, I don't think all of the Tea Party is racist. I do not. Do they have elements of it? Of course. Does some of the ideology of it hint of racism? Historically, it does. Why? Because if you look at states' rights, and that's what the Tea Party is saying, we need to go back to states' rights. When we had that in this country, African Americans couldn't vote. You had the Jim Crow laws put on the books. So when older African Americans hear states' rights, of course they're going to say, wait a minute, we've heard this before. And this is my issue with Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin and Ted Nugent and all these and everybody who's meeting the march in D.C. talking about we're doing this because we're celebrating what Dr. King's dream was. You're reconfiguring what Dr. King's dream was. Dr. King marched on the federal government because he wanted the federal government to get involved because of what the states were doing. But we don't have the conversation in that manner. And it's so sad how easily we are brainwashed and conditioned in this country. Poor white people and white people who have lost their jobs, look, they blame Hispanics and blacks because we can't get into programs, we don't get any benefits because all the blacks and Hispanics are taking all the welfare in this country. Poor blacks and poor Hispanics blame the white man for everything. I can't succeed because white America's holding me down. No, they're not. And guess what? White America, it's more of you on welfare than there is African Americans in this country because you have more numbers than we do in this country. But that's not being talked about. That's not being reported. It's so easy for us to point the finger at each other and hate each other because of race. And see, one of the things that I want to do is make people realize something. Once you leave this country, and many of you have not, and that's the problem. Once you leave this country, if you're American, it don't matter what color you are. If they hate America, they hate you. Point blank. And what I'm trying to do, especially with my listeners, is get us prepared and get us in a different positioning when it comes to race in this country. Because the ism in this country, I keep telling you guys, in the next 5 years, the ism is not going to be racism. It's going to be classism. It's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And what's so sad about this, all these people who listen to Rush Limbaugh, listening to Sean Hannity, listen to Glenn Beck, all three of those guys make over $30 million a year. How much are they putting back into creating jobs and into your neighborhood? If each one of them would just put up $10 million a year, they could create jobs in this country, manufacturing jobs, all kind of opportunities in this country. How many of them are doing that? I'm just saying, if I was making $30 million a year, there's no way in the world I wouldn't be building stuff in communities to get Americans and get people back working. But y'all follow them like sheep, not realizing that you helping the rich get richer while you still out here struggling. And black folks, we do it too. 877-373-9766. Opening up the phone lines, talking to you Truth Fighters right here, right now. Warren Ballentine Show.
Stay tuned for the Warren Ballentine Show. Call 1-877-373-9766. 1-877-373-9766. Call the #1 Truth Fighter and stay with NewsTalk 1090 AM WILD Boston.
President and CEO of Mechanics and Farmers Bank, Miss Kim Saunders. Welcome back to the Warren Ballentine Show.
Thank you, Warren.
Well,
I am very pleased and to report the results in the bank. And they have exceeded your goals. So I am giving a big shout out and round of applause to the Truth Fighters and just expressing our appreciation for the business and support.
$565,000.
Absolutely.
Wow. If you have not signed up, if you have not opened your account, all you got to do is go to mfbonline.com. mfbonline.com. For everybody who has not joined the bank, who has not signed up, you can bank online. Doesn't matter where you live in the country. Also, the bank is FDIC insured. It has all the features that every other major bank has. And once we get this in the bank, we're going to start making a difference in our communities, take it national with other banks across the country once we hit the $1 million mark.
1-800-433-8283, extension 840. 1-800-433-8283, extension 840.
I'm very proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you, Kim, so much.
Okay, thank you.
You too. I'm so proud of the Truth Fighters. I can't even tell you that. $565,000 you target your money. Woo-wee.
In the Boston area, log online to mfb.com. Call 1-800-433-8283, extension 840. 1-800-433-8280, extension 840.
Visit the newly renovated Stop & Shop in Rosendale. Stop & Shop has the usual store brand and name brand foods available, from fruits, vegetables, meats, magazines, the whole 9 yards. Plus, Stop & Shop Rosendale now has a gas station after you shop, pump up, and ready to go. Visit the newly renovated Stop & Shop, 950 American Legion Highway, Rosendale, Massachusetts. If you're coming by public transportation, take the MBTA bus numbers 30 and number 14, and you are there.
A lot of people are inspired by the 2011 Ford Fiesta.
Okay, so the link between the Ford Fiesta and me is that when you think about color and when you think about personality, you start from the inside and you work your way out. So from the push button start, like for me getting inside of it to not having to really do a lot of work, then getting inside and everything is prepared for you. You've got the knee airbag, you've got the push button start, you've got the sync. I'm also prepared so when you get into a car that prepares you for what you're doing, you feel better. And it's also a reflection of your mind. So when everything inside your car is cool and it's clean, also your mind is clean and you're able to do things easier.
The 2011 Ford Fiesta. It's inspiring.
Ford Fiesta, yes, it's the best. And I'm rapping with you, it's the best. Yeah, I'm Princess, and I'm here to say, if you drive a Ford, you'll be doing it the right way. Hey, you'll be doing it the right way. Hey, you'll be
Push button and sync optional. Don't drive while distracted. Even with sync, only use phones and other devices when safe.
Get on the bus. The Reverend Al Sharpton and the National Action Network is heading down to the nation's capital. On Saturday, August 28th marks the 47th anniversary of the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Fox News' Glenn Beck and the Tea Party movement will be also down in Washington, D.C. to sabotage the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The late, great Martin Luther King put his life on the line daily to fight for everybody's civil rights, for jobs, housing, education, and equality. Please get on that bus. Join the march Saturday, August 28th to send the Tea Party marchers a message that Dr. King's dream will not be distorted nor destroyed.
Log on to nationalactionnetwork.net.
Call the National Action Network at 1-877-626-4651. 1-877-626-4651 for transportation near you on the road to Washington, D.C. Saving the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This is a radio reality fact.
The intent of H.R. 848, or the performance tax, is allegedly to ensure that artists get paid when their music is played. The problem is that Sound Exchange, the company that collects the money on behalf of the artist, distributes only about half of the money it collects. So Free Radio loses, the artists lose, and Sound Exchange gets paid. Stop this from happening. Contact your local representatives and tell them to vote no to H.R. 848.
This has been another Reality Radio Fact with Kathy Hughes.